So G2's golden boy m0nesy has been called out for abusing a smoke bug at the 2022 Antwerp Major. The bug allowed him to basically mow down his opponents while they couldn't see him at all. Now, he's claimed that admins allowed him to use the bug, but in a really weird turn of events, Valve actually patched it out mid-event. This actually goes really deep, so let's dive into it. Alright guys, as you know, there's a lot of CSGO content coming out right now, so if you want to stay up to date, I think it's in your best interest if you subscribe to the channel, and leave a like if you like the video. The PGL Major is in full swing right now, and it's honestly been incredible, but since this is CSGO we're talking about, it's not been without its fair share of controversy. And if you've been paying attention to any of those controversies, the one we're talking about today stemmed from just a single smoke grenade. In a game last weekend against Fallen's last dance squad, Imperial, G2's 17-year-old Opper threw a smoke grenade that acted as a one-way. Essentially, the smoke allowed him to see all the way down mid without being spotted himself. This let him pick apart the unsuspecting Brazilians. Now, one-way smokes are not outlawed at all in pro play, but what makes this smoke different is it actually negated the effects of a previously thrown smoke from his perspective. To put it simply, Imperial threw your standard mid-window smoke from T-spawn, but m0nesy learned that his counter smoke would make a section of that original smoke invisible when crouched in his specific position. Okay, so this is definitely not the intended function of CSGO's engine, which would technically make this smoke an exploit. 3Clicks Philip also noticed that both m0nesy and Hunter attempted this smoke in several other rounds against Imperial. On top of that, m0nesy also managed to pull off that exact same smoke in a match against Na'Vi.
And started out with the kills.
Ooh, one way from m0nesy.
What makes the Imperial situation worse is that G2 ended up beating them only 16-12. That's a pretty close match if you ask me. So once the clip started making the rounds, people got pretty heated. m0nesy was quick to explain what happened on Twitter in a reply to Don Hachi, saying that he asked admins ahead of time if the smoke was illegal, and they told him it was okay to use. Shortly after, PGL tweeted that they would continue to allow the smoke to be used, and that they were on the current version of CSGO. Okay, so I'm not too sure why they needed to clarify that they were on the latest client of CSGO. This is a major tournament after all, so if they weren't, that would be very bizarre. I just assumed this was a way to wash their hands of any responsibility. Unfortunately for PGL, this did not absolve them in the eyes of the community. In fact, people just ended up flaming them even harder since m0nesy clearly wasn't at fault. Now, all of this is actually pretty concerning to the integrity of the tournament because this smoke can hypothetically be recreated on any map in certain areas if you took the time to try. And because of PGL's inaction, all the teams remaining ended up making a gentleman's agreement not to use the smoke bug. But in a surprising twist, Valve actually ended up fixing the bug and patching it out within 24 hours of the issue being brought to light. I say it's surprising because things like this happen like once a year and Valve never does shit.
What would you say you do here?
But as I mentioned at the top, this actually goes a bit deeper. You see, this isn't the first time an exploit has been used at a major tournament. Most recently, there was the illegal Molotov at Blast, which resulted in admins making the call to redo the round. Then there was of course the famous Olaf boost in 2014, which resulted in the game being forfeited after TOs ruled against it. And perhaps the most similar case to this situation was the notorious big jump bug from the 2017 PGL Major, where once again PGL allowed the exploit to be used, resulting in teams deciding to make their own gentleman's agreement not to use it. What connects all these incidents together is that every time, Valve never lifted a finger to actually solve any of the problems.
Do something! Do something! Do something!
But that's what makes this smoke bug so interesting. Valve quickly patched it out and things went on business as usual. Now that match still did count as a loss for Imperial, so fans were rightfully a little upset about the situation. But both teams are now out of the tournament, so such is life, I suppose. And it luckily seems like m0nesy didn't actually catch too much of the blame at first. In fact, he's kind of a whistleblower if you think about it. First of all, like a well-behaved young man, m0nesy decided to ask for permission before using the bug. And secondly, this isn't the first time that m0nesy's brought a bug to everybody's attention. In fact, it's not even the first time it's been about a smoke grenade.
Look, I'll show you a good strategy. Smoking G2 from this bench. Then you're coming here. For example, bots are staying like this, okay? Like this and this, right? If you aim here, nade like this. You know, you can see around the smoke then.
Now, on a final note, there's something I wanted to mention. As a CSGO fan and someone who's been watching since the Olaf boost, I think this controversy tells us something about the current state of CSGO. For starters, it shows that CSGO is definitely still broken and that these things are going to happen again. But more importantly, it tells us that when Valve, a TO, or someone with authority actually makes a popular, common sense decision, the drama tends to die out pretty quickly. And especially now, after all the coaching bug drama, I think it's clear that Valve needs to start taking more responsibility for their game. After all, they made it. This is definitely not the intended use of Valorant. Jesus. Oops. Have I ever abused a bug for CS:GO? No. I don't think I'm smart enough to abuse a bug. Like, the effort that m0nesy had to put in to actually learn how to do this is insane, and I don't think I have that type of time on my hands, to be honest with you.